Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's the Big Detecting Show. Come along, it's all fun.
It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and welcome to the Big Detecting Show. Dave's not here this week. He's currently stuck in Poland trying to get a flight home, which has been delayed. So it's myself tonight, so apologies. And good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining in the chat. We've got Dean Houston coming on shortly from Scottish Relics Metal Detecting, which very much looking forward to chatting to. And apologies for last week because I came home from a day out on my holiday. I went hired a little boat, came home in the dark, flicked the lights on in the place we were staying, and the power had gone. So we ended up didn't have a torch. No one smokes anymore, so there's no lighters. So we ended up having to try and drive the hire car through the doors of the villa to get light in, and because the phone batteries were dead because everyone had been filming all day. So yeah, and I couldn't get electricity. And then when I did get it up, it was like 9:15. So sorry about that. And also apologies for the week before that, where I was very drunk sitting in the swimming pool, trying to do the show on my phone. So good evening, everyone. And a few things before Dean comes on the show tonight. Detectomania, Lothian Relics 2024 had their event, I think it was last weekend, and they raised over £10,000 for charity because James and Ollie, who've been on the show from Ministry of Detect, walked 100 miles to the rally to raise money for a charity. So hats off to them. Big round of applause. £10,000 is a lot of money. I was nearly said 10,000 miles. So yeah, well done to them. Really, really, really good. The show has gone downhill since there has been less wine drunk. I haven't got wine tonight, but I have got some beer, which was kindly donated Rodney Cook by, I've forgotten his name. The sticker was on the thing. And there will be plenty of wine next week. Right, say hello to everyone. Hello, Stephen Brame. Hope you're okay. David is obviously on his phone in the airport because he's messaged in there. Gareth Howard. Hi, Gareth. Hope you're well. Hope your loft's okay after all the trouble we had. Dark Knight Detectorist. Hi, mate. Jerry O'Donnell. Oh, Clodbusting Relic Hunters Scotland. Hello, mate. All right. Hello, Philip Wills, Fee Cooley, Mr. Robert Random, David McBaddy, the YouTubers Metal Detecting Channel, and Derek Sherwin, A Up Your Duck Detects. Lovely. Carl Ellis. Hi, Carl. Hope you're all right. He bought me wine at Rodney Cook, 2 bottles. It's actually, I think it was 2 and a bit. So, yes, we're back. Philip Will spent last week in North Wales. He went detecting Bath Beach a few days. I saw several detectorists every day. The beach is completely hammered. Only 4 and bottle tops. Yeah, this is one of the reasons I don't like beach detecting near me, because it is just full of junk. Dark Knight Detectorist, how's that 18-inch coil going, Adrian? I haven't been out. I could have taken it on holiday, but I would have got in trouble because it's illegal out there. I'm going out with it tomorrow afternoon. So what I did find, even though it's a huge coil, 18 inches from the Manticore, the Mythtech coil, it does punch deeper, but I couldn't dig deeper at Detectable because the ground was so hard. Right, let's invite our guest on, Dean. So I will invite Dean. He's not there at the moment. Yes, he is. He knows how to use a computer.
Well, just.
Hello, Dean. All right?
All right.
Yeah. Sorry?
I'm saying all right.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm joking. People take the mickey because I can't
loads of
understand.
subtitles here. I've tried to turn the subtitles on just for all these English people on this site here. Can't find them.
I don't know if it does do subtitles. No, it can't do. How are you doing?
I'll talk my best King's English.
Yeah, no, I can understand you very clearly. It's Dave I have trouble with because he's slurs and mumbles. Dean, very nice house you got there. Lovely.
I've got a piano in the background there, this side.
Yeah. I've got the QR code there. If anyone wants to scan, am I going to press the right one? Hang on. I'm not very good at this. Yeah, just there. There's Dean's YouTube channel. He's on Instagram as well. But if you want to head over to it, what's it called, Dean? Scottish Relics?
Scottish Relics Metal Detecting, yeah.
Yeah. He's got a good YouTube channel. So scan it with your phone. And if you're not
subtitles
on your phone,
are available on YouTube.
Ah, right. Okay. Oh, what have I done there? That's better. Tell us a bit about yourself, Dean.
So, yeah, Dean.
Metal detecting related, obviously.
Well, there's not very much to tell if it's just metal detecting related. No, I've been detecting for about, 6-7 years, something like that. found a lot of good things. Found a hoard, but everyone's fed up hearing about that.
Go on, tell us again about your hoard.
So it wasn't a massive hoard. There was 22 just Edward I hammered coins.
Cool, nice.
So, so they went to the museum 4 or 5 years ago, got claimed and then got disclaimed. So I got them back. So that's good.
Really? What have you done with them? Framed them or?
Got them all framed, all with their little headings underneath. So you can see them on I put a picture on the Facebook page.
Right. Bear with. What machine were you using, Dean?
I think at the time I was using the ORX, the XPRX.
Oh, right. Okay.
I found it with other two guys. They were using the Equinox. I just got the ORX, and I've now got the Equinox again. But yeah, it was ORX. I found the rest of them. Obviously, it was a shared kind of venture.
So what? So you said you've been detecting 6 or 7 years. What initially got you into the hobby?
Well, I watched that TV program, that famous one. But I'd always been kind of interested in detecting because I used to spend a lot of time when I was younger in Blackpool. When Nana and Granda lived there, I used to always see people detecting on the beach, and it kind of always fascinated me. And then I kind of stopped thinking about it. And when I watched that program, I thought, I'm going to give it a go. And I went on eBay and I bought I think it was a Viking MX.
Oh no, all right, yeah.
So I got that. Then I upgraded to the classic Garrett Ace 250, and then I just went and got the Equinox, and then I've just changed different machines since then. Always kind of go back to the Equinox.
Yeah, it's interesting you went for a Viking because obviously it's part British. I think it might be 100% British made, and they've been going for like 40 years.
I think
you don't often see
40 quid. That's why I went for it.
Yeah, and
I thought that would waste a lot of money. And I read people were saying that they were quite good at the time.
Yeah, about 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah, there was. Yeah, because now there's just so many detectors out there. But 6 or 7 years ago, that's before the Equinox, isn't it? So unless you wanted to blow a lot of money and get a Deus, it's quite good. I'm actually getting a Viking soon because I want to try it out. Less than 200 quid and see how it does. So you found the hoard, and then you went back to the Equinox. What did you get? An 800 then?
No, so I've only just actually purchased an 800 just now, because I've had the 600 for ages. I just thought I want to upgrade. I can't afford the Manticore, so I thought I'm going to just stick with what I know, but I'll upgrade a little bit so I can play around with some of the settings. So went back to the Equinox 800s. And I said I've had various machines before. I've had the DS2. I just didn't gel at all with that. I think if you're used to one machine for so long, and I do a lot of beach detecting as well down here, and I didn't feel that it was just cutting what I needed. It was too noisy.
Yeah, the Equinox is very, very good on the beach. Although the Deus, to be fair, I've been on the beach with mine, and compared to the original Deus, the Deus 2 on the beach is brilliant, really, really good. So, and then you started up a Facebook group.
The Facebook page, to be honest, is just for the YouTube channel. So originally it all started when the two guys that I worked with were doing metal detecting as well. And I kind of noticed that there was it's obviously one of these hobbies that's kind of quite cliquey, isn't it? Like everyone's kind of scared to say hello to each other. So I thought, why don't we just start a local club, and see how that kind of goes, and we'll just meet kind of like-minded people and stuff like that. So we've done that, and we was kind of based at a charity group. So we kind of approached local landowners around the place. Obviously, 100% of the money was going to charity. The farmer didn't take a fee or anything like that. And that lasted, we've done that for about a year, something like that. But it just got kind of a bit too crowded, and I was getting death threats and stuff like that about local area. So I thought, nah, it's not worth the time and effort. So I just decided to do YouTube, and it was only just a way of kind of documenting what we were finding. And yeah, through YouTube, I've met a lot of like great friends who I've met up with at various events and stuff like that. Speak online, share stories, kind of promote each other. A lot of them in the chat just now, you know what I mean? And it's just quite a good community. And I think when you first start detecting, you look at the community and you think it's full of idiots at the start, but it's not really. You know what I mean?
No, I think the people in the hobby are quite outspoken, that no one's scared of saying what they think, which is nice because you know where you are with people. But yeah, I'm obviously I've been detecting for years, so if I came into the hobby now, what would I'd probably be a bit scared, because like most people, you buy a detector and then you realise you've got to get permission, and so joining a club, I always think is the best thing. So
that's how you kind of set up the club, because I thought it's an easier way of meeting people that you can kind of bounce off each other. They can maybe go on their permission. You could come on, like they could come on yours, and you just get to meet more people that way. I think. And I say it did work, and it was a good club, and I still keep in touch with a lot of people that were in the club.
So you actually met up at somewhere, did you?
Yeah, once a month, we used to just have a kind of meeting in the pub, and people would just bring in their ring pools and stuff like that they found the week before.
Yeah. It's hard work running a club, I think.
Yeah, especially when you're getting like grief kind of from all angles coming in, because I think any other charity organisation, if you're raising money for charity, doing a sponsored walk, you don't get the same amount of grief as you would be if you were metal detecting. And I think it just kind of gets that bad rep.
Yeah, you watched The Detectorist. You see that lovely, quaint village hall with the mad wife and matey with his button presentations. And I'd quite like to join a club like that. It'd be quite funny. But there are some like that, but I think it's just so popular now, the hobby. I went to one club, won't mention its name because it's not got a good name now, but one night there was over 100 turned up, and the landlord it was pushing people away, and it's crazy. I think about 3 turn up now, but it's the way things go. So you married? Are you got kids or?
Yeah, married. We've got 2 kids.
Do they think you're an idiot? All of you? Do they all think you're an idiot?
Yeah, one of them does occasionally come out metal detecting. But yeah, they kind of see it as just like an old man's hobby. Oh, you're going out detecting, but then as soon as they find out that they can go down the beach and find a few pound, then they're quite happy.
Yeah, I'd similar with my son. He for years just constantly taking the mickey out of me, laughing, and then suddenly, when you come home with something of significance, and then they realise how much it is, then they realise the history behind it. And my son comes with me now. I think he might come tomorrow, actually. But yeah, he's a bit old. How old are you?
13 and 9, sorry.
Yeah, so it's about the age I was getting bullied about being a detectorist, as they called me. But yeah, I think as soon as they get a bit older and they get off the PlayStation and the phone, they start realising it is a really good hobby. Really good hobby. And I think... I can't think of anything else. Do you go fishing out of interest?
No. I used to go fishing when I was younger with my dad and stuff like that. That's kind of what I was brought up with, fishing. And I absolutely hate fishing. Like, I'm not the most patient person. And I think trying to put a hook onto a line and all that kind of stuff, I'm just not patient. I used to be the one throwing the rocks into the water when my dad was fishing. So
Yeah. So you say you're not patient. You found a hoard. So...
since I found the hoard in the first 6 months in metal detecting, and it's been like a curse ever since. I found other good things, but you always just, you know what I mean, like you end up falling out with people, and you end up getting, especially the process. I don't know what the process is like in England, but the process here for handing fines in is ridiculous. As I said, that was 5 years the museum had it, claimed that, told us how much we were getting, and then all of a sudden just said, well, we don't want them anymore. Obviously, they ran out of money.
Was that near COVID?
When they first handed the coins in, it was right just before COVID, for lockdown. And we found them in two, so it was a kind of scattered hoard. We found them in two parts. So I sent away the first part, and then a few days later we went back and found the rest of them, and I sent them away. But COVID lockdown had just kicked in. I think they sent them. So they arrived at the museum, and after COVID was all over, I messaged them to ask, obviously, for the receipts, like to say that they had got them. They only received one part. So the second part they said they didn't receive, even though I had the receipt that said that they did receive them. But I had moved, I went through a devotion and stuff like that. I moved house multiple times. So I lost the kind of receipt for it. So yeah, they lost, I think it was six of them. They lost. And that was just obviously written off that they had lost them.
Still not found them?
No. So what was happening, I think they were just getting put in a security box somewhere. So obviously at some stage, they've just vanished out of that security box or never landed in that security box. And I'd imagine a lot of other finds at the time never reached the security box.
No, I handed in a medieval ring just before COVID. And I was told, it's very similar to this one that was found 2 years ago. So we should be able to push it through. And I said, how long? And she said, it won't be longer than 6 months, a year max. I went, brilliant, thanks. 4.5 years later. And finally, I kept emailing. The flow left. Then another one joined. Then she left. Then another one joined. And then we didn't have one. And every time I kept emailing, they said, someone will get back to you. And in the end, I kept phoning almost every day. And in the end, someone got back to me and they said, they'll chase it up. But if I hadn't chased it up or if I died, what would have happened? But yeah, it's something which I know is being looked into at the moment, and the NCMD are pushing to get it sped up. There's talk of an online system where, because you have to take a day off work to go there, day off work to come home to pick it up.
The Scottish Treasure Trove have started doing is that a few of the recent things that I've found, they've just asked for photographs. So they've basically asked me to record it, and they're just remotely recording it, which is quite good because you're not having to hand anything in. You're getting to keep your item, and they've just remote recorded it, obviously, because before the museum would want one single hammer coin off you up here, but now obviously they're quite happy for you to just, as I say, remote record. And I suppose if they wanted to recall that item at any point,
they can call you in. Yeah, I think items of significance, which we've now got here in England, which could be anything which is deemed significant, which if you haven't researched it, how do you know if it is significant? So it's very confusing. It's quite a bizarre thing. So you've not found that much since then of really good, but how long have you been using the Equinox 800?
So the 800, I've only just got that last week. I did have an 800 about 2-3 years ago. And I found at the time I was just messing around so much with the settings, and I felt like all I was doing in the field was just playing around with it all the time. So that's why I went back to the 600s, because I thought it's simple, turn it on. There's only a few settings you can mess around with, and then that's it. But I decided I'm going to just upgrade to the 800. I did want the Manticore, but I just can't afford the Manticore.
A lot of money.
So I thought the Equinox has done me well. I suppose there's not a lot of difference in the two machines in terms of if it's going to be found, it's going to be found. Do you know what I mean?
Might have found it if you're Viking at the end of the day. But what made you go for the 800 rather than the 900? Just price?
To be honest, when I looked at the differences, there wasn't a lot, and I thought, do I need a torch on the back? Do I need a red light? And do I want those couple of extra settings? I thought, probably not. Because I think, I don't know, it just seems to look like exactly the same, but it's an extra few £100. And I've got a friend who got rid of his 600 and went for a 700. And when I used it, it's almost just like a updated 600 with a different light. That's all I see. It probably isn't, but it just seems kind of that way to me.
It's interesting. Oh, Matt Kent in the chat says, sell your grand piano, Dean, and that'll get a Manticore. It's interesting because Mind Lab next week knocking 40% off the Manticore. Yeah, so no, they're not. It's just the Dark Knight Detectorist is in the chat and he just bought one. So I thought, suddenly think, I've had one for when it came out. I had because you couldn't get hold of them at first, and I had one for about a month, and then sent it back, and then got one. I like using it. It's very powerful, and now I've got this 18-inch coil on it, which I'm going to take out tomorrow, just to see how deep. Because I'll be able to dig. Because down south here, the ground's been really dry, and now it's like Scotland. Do you know what I mean? It's just been raining, which is good. But yeah, it punches deep, and when you've got a target and you can't dig down like a detectable, and Rodney Cook, to be fair, did you go to any of the rallies down south this year?
I was at Detectival, yeah. I think I missed you. You were away out. I was speaking to Dave, but you were away. We got 18-inch coil, I think.
I was in the first field where 4 gold staters were found, because I thought if that coil is going to find anything, it's going to find it in here, because everyone's been over. And I did found quite a few bits, actually, nothing major, but it's a big coil. But I like the Manticore. The only thing is downside is the battery. Get about 7 hours, 7.5 hours, which it's fine. I'm used to going out detecting for the day, coming home, forgetting to charge my machine, and then using it the next day, then remembering to charge it. I could get a battery pack for the Manticore. So what made you get rid of the ORX? Is it just purely because you did like the Equinox?
It was mainly because, obviously here there's not a lot of pasture land, so it's kind of seasonal for when we can go on the fields to metal detect. And I was going to the beach, and the beaches around here are really highly mineralized, and it was just impossible to kind of alter the machine just to not give me earache. I'm deaf in one ear, so it made it really difficult with going from the Equinox to the RX to just constantly ringing in your ear and not being able to distinguish what target was what. And plus the fact that without that kind of snorkel kit, it's not waterproof. So I actually swapped with my friend. He had the Equinox, and he got the RX. So it was that swap. And I think he lasted about 3 weeks better, something like that. Then went and bought another Equinox.
Yeah. How often do you detect? Every week or?
I try and go out maybe a couple of times a week. I've got kind of very limited time to kind of go out, so I can try and go out maybe the odd hour. I've got all my permissions are quite local; they're all within kind of 5-10 minutes.
Oh, lovely.
Around about. So yeah, it's just kind of keep going back to them, but it's hard to kind of pick where you want to go, because for the fields to be the same down your way, as soon as there's something out of it, there's something back in it.
And I think it's going to get even worse, because they're talking about drones now sowing seeds, and I think last year the farmer was raking over one of his fields, and me and my mate said to him, "Oh, it's all right to go on there." He said, "Yeah, you can, but be careful." And we said, "Why?" He said, "I've seeded it." And he's got this new machine now that clears it, rakes it, and seeds it at the same time. I don't know what it is. So, yeah, you're right. Stuff's literally going, then coming back up. And when it's gone, it's mainly corn and wheat down here. So you've got stubble. Or what's the other one they got now? Black pepper was some weird seed that we don't eat in the UK. They export it, and that's got like stems like that, and it's ruined your coil. But yeah, it's hard. I think I think beach detecting, you were saying you do. What sort of beaches are they? Are they popular beaches, or are they just sort of...
they're really like we can't get on them during the day, during the summer. So it's kind of first thing in the morning or later on at night. So we'll have I live right on the coast, so there's about 10. You can choose for about 10 beaches, something like that, all within maximum 20 minutes. To get down to the beach. I don't massively like beach detecting, but when there's no fuels available, it's all you can do, and it gets you out in the fresh air, gets you detecting, and gets you some footage for YouTube.
Easier to dig.
It is easier to dig, yeah. The weird thing is that I'll find on the beach here is it's a good thing for tourists is that it's a very clean beach. So there's hardly any ring pools or anything like that, hardly any rubbish, which is good. But so if you're getting something, it's going to be a coin or a piece of jewellery or something like that. But very rarely are you digging up ring pools, bottle caps, or anything like that. Which I always find quite amazing with how busy the beach is.
Yeah. I'll say typical English, but Scottish, English, British. We'd love going to the coast when it's hot. I'm just going to bring something out. Derek Sherwin's put, what's this? All this I hear about a new coil being brought out for the Deus 2. Yes, there is going to be a new coil for the Deus 2, and it's going to be out. I think it's being tested towards the end of this year, and it'll be out early next year. I know a little bit about it, but very exciting. Steve Cord. Do you know Steve? He lives down in Wales.
I met him.
He's very, very shy guy. Very, very shy. He finds lots of bikinis on the beach. That's probably because he goes detecting 2-3 in the morning.
Those dodgy beaches.
Yeah, he's a nice bloke, Steve. Good bloke. Very, very nice. What events are you going to? Are you going to any other events this year apart from Detectable?
I've got Digathon booked next year. I've not got anything else booked for this year. It's finding the time to go because they're all kind of miles away. I mean, it took to go to Detectiveville there. Sorry, it cost. It took us. It was 8 hours in total to get there to drive, and we kind of split it up. We drove down to where did we stay? Can't remember. We stayed Nottingham. We drove down to Nottingham. That was 6 hours to Nottingham, and then another 2 hours for Nottingham down next again day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Detectomania next year is going to be quite a drive for me. It is Detectomania, isn't it? 5 hours.
Digathon,
Digathon. Sorry, Digathon. That sounds as though it's going to be a very, very good event, and I hope it is. But I like the whole evening markets and stuff like that. So that'll be a good one next year. Kevin Allen, when is the new Nocta detector coming out? Well, if you're talking about the PI one, that's been delayed a bit, pulse induction machine. But I think they might be bringing out probably their powerfulest one yet next year, which isn't going to be cheap. But talking to Dilek at Detectable, she said that it's going to blow people away. But she would say that. But yeah, I think it's going to be Manticore price range sort of thing. Hopefully that answers it. Was talking to a guy from Crawford's at the weekend, and he said that 800 was being dropped come Jan or Feb. I think they'll stop making it, but I think they've stopped supporting software updates on it, which isn't the end of the world because it's very stable anyway. But yeah, you'll still be able to get parts and stuff like that. Steve Cord, I hope not to make a 2D machine. I think that's what they're planning on doing, having something similar to the Manticore. They do the Invenio, which has got a screen, which is like a colour version of the Manticore. I think it's Invenio. If you go on their website and look at it, it's about £2,500 or something. Tidy Treasure. Well done. Live over the wall, over the mountain. Then don't know what he means by that. English Prospector. I love the 800. Mine's starting to play up again, though. Yeah, you do. I think, considering it's the world's most popular, or I think it's the world's biggest selling metal detector, when you compare how many go wrong or hear of things going wrong, mine, the only thing that went was the coil, the lug at the bottom of the coil. But that's probably because I left it in a cold place, which plastics don't like then taking it out.
I use the Realtech coil on the Equinox. I've got the 15-inch one and the 14/9. So I kind of use them quite a lot. I found they kind of sharpen the machine up quite a lot when you're out and about.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what people will put on their Christmas list this year, because there's lots of good coils out there, and it is a good way, instead of upgrading, getting a new machine, just getting a good coil, because coils are such a niche product to make. Nocta never used to make their coils; they used to outsource them, and they now make them in house. But I don't know if you remember when the Simplex came out; it was fine, and then the second batch that came, or the first batch, there was loads of problems, and I think they had to throw away 800 coils because they were faulty. But they've got it right now. If you could get a machine, if I could wave a magic wand, you would go for the Manticore next.
I think I would, yeah. I think I've tried other machines. I've tried the Legend. I've tried the Simplex. I've tried the DS2. I've tried the DS1. I've tried the RX. I've tried the Viking, obviously, in the Garrett. And I think because I always go back to Minelab all the time, I think once you find a brand that you like, I think to me it's all about the tones and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like music, I think. I'm not a lover of Minelab tones. I don't hate them, but I'm not a lover of them. And similar to when Nocta Macro, the Macro Racer, and the early Nocta Macros, I couldn't stand those tones. And then now they've changed them, and you've obviously got different tones on the Legend. Have you used the Legend?
Yeah. The tones, they were very difficult, some of the tones to pick up. I don't know if that was because, obviously, I say I'm deaf in one ear.
Oh, yeah, probably.
It made it difficult, and I just find that the Minelab's the only one that I've actually used that's suited my hearing. I only use like 5 tones. I couldn't cope with all the 50 tones or anything like that. I try to distinguish those, so I just use the 5 tones. But I said I've tried loads of different machines. Garrett, I can't stand the noise of the Garrett. That just kind of drones right through, and it actually vibrates my ear that I can't hear out of. And I've tried that.
You tried the Apex?
No, I haven't tried the Apex. No.
That's the Apex, Garrett Apex is totally different, and the Vortex, which is going to be hopefully out around Christmas. Yeah, I think they've come a long way, and the screen on it is really good. I just put Matt Kent. Is it 1 amp? All detectors are limited to, Adrian. Are you talking about the coil? There's a limit on. I know the Manticore is right on the verge of the limit that you're legally allowed for EMI. That's probably why it's got 2 batteries in the controller, because it pumps so much power, that thing. Ever tried a Simplex Lite? The tones on that are awful. I still love it. Yeah, I remember when the Simplex came out. I wasn't a lover of the tones on that, but that's probably money. For the money it was and is, or it's a cracking machine, Simplex, when it came out. I didn't want to like it, and I loved it, and I found some really good stuff with it. That was quite revolutionary from Nocta when they brought that out.
I think that's what it is. I think it depends what machine you start with. And obviously, I was never going to, like with Viking, you're never going to kind of progress to a better machine, because at that time they weren't really bringing much out. And kind of Minelab at the time did kind of corner that market with their big advertising campaigns, and they do kind of swamp the market. Whereas now, obviously, it's a kind of a bit an even playing field, really.
Yeah, Derek Sherwin's just put a very good comment in there. Deus two tones can be made sound similar to Mindlab. Yes, they can. And if you go into the graphic equalizer, which going back to what Dean was saying about what people like, we all have different levels of hearing. So, you know, someone running their fingers down a blackboard because of the tone might freak out Dean, but not me. And with the Deus 2, you've got your graphic equalizer on there, which is fantastic because you can adjust, because young people have more sensitive hearing, obviously, than old people like me. So a young person's tones, for me, are a bit too, whoa, whereas you can dumb them down. Yeah.
See, the tones on mine, literally everything's maxed out. Like, so my volume's about 25. I still find that a bit too low. I wish I had an extra few notches up on the volume. Everyone else can about me with my headphones on, but I'm still sitting there like that, trying to hear it.
And because you're deaf in one ear, that probably don't help. Yeah.
The other ear's not that much great either. I think it was all those years of playing heavy bass music when my mum told me to turn it down.
Drum and bass.
That's what it'll be.
Yeah, I can remember going to raves when I was younger, and so excited that you could stand in front of the speaker and feel your internal organs moving and wind blowing your hair, thinking it was cool at the time, but God knows what it's done to me is. And shooting shotguns without earplugs in. Yeah, so I can remember, I've had lots of bangs, lots of loud sounds. Dark Knight detector is the best thing about the Manticore for me is that I don't get falsing while detecting stubble like I did on the Knox 800. Oh,
see, I've seen Jason was talking about that before in his video. I've never, to be honest, noticed the falsing. I don't know if it's because, so I have, like, I don't know the discrimination, and not the discrimination, the sensitivity, sorry. Mine is always like down to kind of 14 because it's a lot of the fields around here are just so heavy mineralized that anything over that you could probably dig a target every swoop, or 5 targets every swoop. So I never noticed as much with the stubble. I don't know if use the coil tech or I've not used the stock coil.
Yeah, I must admit, my man's Equinox found a William III gold half guinea in stubble like that, and I was bashing through it, and I think I was running sensitivity on 18, 19, 20, something like that. And that was fine. I tell you what though, my Manticore, I've lent it to a friend of mine. I don't know if he's still using it, but oh my God, it's like a Mark III Cortina. It is proper hanging together with bits of tape and still going strong though. Ryan Parker, I met Regton the weekend, and the Manticore is a lovely thing. I had a 600 for 7 years, and it's never let me down. It's starting to work itself and steaming up on the screen, so maybe time to upgrade. I like sticking to the same product and also like to see numbers. It's a bit like an iPhone. Yeah, actually, very good call, actually.
That's what it's like, isn't it? It's like an iPhone and Android. I think once you've been using the one, it's difficult to go to another one. I tried when the Samsung S22 came out. I thought, right, I'm going to try a Samsung. I've been on the iPhone since the first one, and I sent it back within 4 days.
Yeah, I know. I had iPhone since the iPhone 2, and I got up to the 10.
Yeah,
and then I think the screen broke or something, and it was out of warranty, and they wanted like 200 quid. And I thought, I'll stop this. So I've got an Android, and I struggled big time. But I picked it up and I loved it. And now I've gone back to iPhone, which is my work phone. And I like it because it is like a mind lab. You turn it on, it works. You know where to do things. But I like tinkering with things. So when I want to download a bit of software or an app or do something, you can't because you're locked down. So, but that's me. I'm like that with detectors. I love tinkering and playing with them. Talking of detectors, I've got the C-scope machine just before I went on holiday, the 6MXI, and I'm going to be taking that out tomorrow. And that is just simple: turn on, dial in, off you go. 2 tones, 17 hertz, and I'm hoping to find some good stuff with it because for me, multi-frequency is not the be-all and end-all. I think it can get you in a lot of trouble if you don't know the soil you're detecting on or the land. You can actually, if you flick back to single frequency, it's that you can have a machine that's a lot more settled and get a lot more depth. But that's only if you know what you're doing. Do you ever run your machine in single frequency?
No, but sometimes if I'm out, my mate had told me about it. Just like they flick it to 10 kilohertz. If you're going over something you're unsure about, and I did notice it worked, but I thought you spend the rest of your time then doubting targets. I think I may as well just dig it. You know what I mean? So if I'm on multi-frequency and I get a bit of an iffy signal, I think you can talk yourself out of digging it. And I think the amount of times that I've nearly talked myself out of digging a hole because it's iffy, and you've tried it in maybe a different frequency and it's still iffy, and then you dig it and it's something good. So I think, as you say, it depends what field you're on.
There's only one machine, I'd say, because obviously when I test them for Treasure Hunting magazine, I run them in all the frequencies, take them on the beach, multi-frequency, everything. And there's one machine, I'd say, I won't say what brand it is, on multi-frequency, it's 95% as good as being on a single frequency with the ID and target on generic sort of soil sort of thing. There's a man in the chat there, Gary Cook. Never heard of him. First time on the show. Been using my DAS one since the first week they came out in the UK, and it's still my go-to machine I use when out. I know, Gary, you tell me. So that's 12 years old, that machine. And if you look at Gary's finds, you'll realise why he uses it still. I
think you can get too caught up on new machines coming out and people want to buy the next best thing. And I think the coins have been under, like whatever's there has been under there for so many hundreds of years, thousands of years sometimes. And I think if one machine is going to find it, another machine might find it a lot better, but is it all to do with depth? I mean, whereas you think about 90% of the stuff we find is only like 2 inches down. I think any machine can find it. I think a lot of people are kind of roped into spending loads and loads of money on something, whereas they don't necessarily need to spend loads of money.
No, the same could be said about cars, couldn't it? I mean, I don't know what car you drive, but let's say the average person at the moment is driving a hybrid Ford, right? I guarantee you, in 3 years' time, that's going to cost 3 times the amount to run than if you'd kept your original 2016 Ford Focus. I was only watching something today, and this is applying to everything. Side light on a Tesla, when it goes, it's LED, but they do go. It's 1,400 quid a side. 20 years ago, that was down Halfords and 2 quid for 2 light bulbs, and same with detectors and phones and everything. It's just we're paying for this technology, and I that's why I've got the C-scope, and I want to get a Viking soon as well, because I want to go out there and, like you're saying, you've got to walk over it, and can you imagine if I find a hoard of gold staters with a 200 quid metal detector? But saying that, when I was at Detectable, I don't know if you saw them, there were 2 blokes. I think they'd got drunk one night about 6 months ago, watched the Detectorists and said, let's have a go at that. One of them had a Wing Wang Wu Chinese detector, and the other one had a Chinese detector, probably a Tandy, like he bought it at a boot sale or something. And I watched them, and it's me standing there with my flipping 18-inch coil and all the gear, no idea sort of thing. And I watched them, and they were digging up stuff. They were digging up stuff. They did dig a few horseshoes and things like that, but they were finding coins and stuff. And it just made me think, and they were happy. They were enjoying it. They'd spent 100 quid on a detector off eBay or whatever. One of them was like...
So, I thought you were stopped. There was a bit of lag there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they one of them was like a machine was like a pinky purple color, and the other one was like bright orange. And At first, I thought they were like secret spies from somewhere, like just, I won't say from where, but making sure everyone's doing what they should be doing. But yeah, quite interesting. What's this? I'm just going through.
I
Oh,
think the
Gary.
guy as well, so Sunday I came to Detectiveville there. The first time they'd been out detecting, and they hired a simplex from LP, and their first swing they got the gold stator.
I saw that. Yeah.
Whereas obviously that guy's life's going to be ruined now because you can't find that every hole. But yeah, just
He'll be with.
I mean, people will think you have to go and spend fortunes on a metal detector when you can go and buy a £250 simplex. That's exactly the same job as every other machine.
He's probably sponsored by Nocta now. He's probably getting a simplex tattoo on his chest, which I don't blame him because it just goes to show any machine will do it. Matt Kent, need a coil invented that has prongs to go through stubble. There's someone who was prototyping one last year who I spoke to, 3D printed. I don't know what's happened to it, but it's got like little fins on the side, and they're like sharp, but they're plastic, and they hack through. There is the skid plates you can get, pardon me, for your coil, which is basically a cover that covers the whole of the. If you've seen those, Dean.
Yeah, I've seen somebody on Facebook the other day in America had just a bin, like the bottom of a mayonnaise, big mayonnaise tub on the bottom of their coil with some what do you call them, cable ties. And I think it does the same job, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's I mean, I'd quite like challenging detecting. So if I've got a heavily contaminated land, I don't like green waste. No one likes that. But if I've got some heavily contaminated land, I don't know, and also stubble, I like it. I like the challenge. Right, we've got lots to go through tonight. Have you done Adrian's Wall before?
No.
Dean. Right. No. So this is basically a find, an artifact, which is on the Portable Antiquities Scheme website, which I've put in a competition. It's called Adrian's Wall because I can't remember. I think Matt Kent in the chat actually, or Gareth Howard. So I can't remember which one said, "Why don't you do it?" So basically, I'll call this up now. You've got to bear with me because I haven't got Dave here. And, oh my God, I think it's going to work. This might work. No, it won't. Right. Did you hear music then, Dean?
No.
Oh, that's not work then. Okay, so this is kindly sponsored by Composite Cleaning Pencil and Digar Wear. So head over to their websites and support them. Digar Wear do some lovely clothing, and Cleaning Pencil does cleaning pencils and loads of other things. So head over to them because they kindly support us. Tonight's prize will be not this. This is a bottle opener from Coil Tech, which I got kindly given to me from Nice View. Tonight's prize will be, if Graham doesn't send it, I'll send it. Have you seen these, the composite cleaning pencil pouch kits?
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Graham supports my channel as well.
Oh, does he? Yeah. Really nice guy. Really, really nice guy. I think since he's been out for 2 years now, prison, he's really got a grip and he's doing some great products. But less said about that. Right. Oh God, I can see the screen tonight, so I can actually do things. But I've lost my mouse. No, I haven't. Right. Can you see the chat, Dean?
Yeah.
Right, we'll go with Dave Seymour 13 first. Wrong. I've just clicked the YouTube screen. Why can't I? Oh, here we go. So we've got 13. Dominic's gone 12. 14. Oh. 19. Anyone? Oh,
We've got
anyone saying anything?
We've got. You want me to tell you what numbers are people are telling you?
Yeah, it's not a pence sharpener. Oh, flipping heck! There's a Philip Wills has won. He's done very, very well. Yes, it is. I thought that was going to be a bit. Well, it's quite simple, but I thought Philip Wills was going to get that one. It's basically a candlestick holder, and I need to go to the next slide, and I don't know how to do it because my computer's been right. That's not going, but I'll show you what it is. It's basically an incomplete late medieval to early post-medieval 1450 to 1550 copper alloy branch double socket candle stand. So well done, Philip. He does it every single week nearly, and I reckon he's got lots and lots of things. Sorry, I'm looking at the mouse.
I don't think I've ever been on a live or a podcast where I've not seen Philip win something. He's always winning something. We need to rub up against him.
He certainly is. He's quite an interesting guy, and I think if you've got any technical questions like your boiler needs servicing and you need to sort something out, he'll answer it in the chat. But well done, Philip. I don't know how he does it. I think he's got some sort of bug in my house, probably in the toilet. But yeah, well done, Philip. I was next week. I think we're going to change it a bit. We're going to probably have detectors. We did that a while back. We had a bit of a detector, and it could be a detector from 20 years ago. It could be a year ago, but I'll take a picture and I've got some good ones for that. So well done, Philip. I know you love this game, Philip. No need to send your details because we've already got them on the database because we always have it. But to be fair, Philip, you do support us, and you have been supporting the show for many, many years now. So thank you very much. Oh, is my computer going to do that thing? Yes. It's pretty cool, that, isn't it? And I do that as well. It sometimes does something. Yeah. Got all the gear here. No idea. Right. Has anyone got any? We're not closing the show yet, but has anyone got any questions for Dean? And I don't want any, what's he saying? I don't understand him, because that's what I say. And that's racist, I think.
I've had that all anyway. And as soon as I promoted it, I got people saying there's going to be subtitles.
Are you
going to be haggis, and you're wearing a kilt, and all that.
Do you eat haggis?
Occasionally, it gives me heartburn.
I've spent my whole life moaning about it, right? Because I know what's in it.
Yeah.
And last year, my in-laws invited me round for Scottish New Year. They just like celebrate. They're not Scottish. They just like drinking a lot and celebrating. And they invited me around and said, go on, try some. I was like, was it neeps and tatties and all that? Flipping heck. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Really, really did. It was lovely.
If you catch them enough in the season, they're better.
Really?
Yeah. Like January, February type of thing. If you can catch them then, they're a lot better for eating.
Fresh one,
yeah.
Do you keep the legs on when you cook it?
Yeah, eat them separate.
Yeah.
Save them.
Yes. Where did he find his hoard? On a hill, under a tree, in the middle of the field? Good question, Stephen.
It was. So I'll tell you the backstory then. So we got a permission for the club. We took the club. There was about, I can't remember, 25, 30 people came. It was only a small field, maybe about, I don't know, 4 acres, something like that. And they all went on it twice. Nothing at all came up on the field apart from the odd bullet and stuff like that. So we decided to go back a couple of weeks later, and we detected nothing came up. And then George, who used to be on the channel with me, he got the first signal of his first ever hammered coin that he found. And so anyway, we went over to that bit. Another half an hour, 40 minutes went by, and we never found anything. And in the field there was like a little burn that went through it, but it was just a man-made one that was for the drainage. So we went over to the other side, and that's where they all came up. So I think they might have been in a pot or a bag or whatever at one point, and then when they've dug the channel out to put the drainage in, they pushed them all over because they were all like literally were under boulders and everything. I don't know if you can see it in the video if you go on my channel and go back to the video, like literally the size of the boulders that some of these hammered coins were under. That's why they're quite hard to find. I think there is more there, because there's lots of boulders, and there's also the water running through it. So I think if we went into the water and went further down the stream, I think a lot of them would be lying down, like just scattered around the place.
Yeah, it's streams and rivers and ditches. There's a hoard near me found in the late 80s, and that was in a small ditch by the side of the field, in a pot which had broken. Gary Cook, is Dean coming to the No Frills?
I've not heard about it. Wait, what's this all about, one?
It's basically Gary Cook raises money for people wanting to support immigrants in the UK and help bring more over. No, he doesn't. No, he's not. I'm joking. He, I don't know how that would go down in the metal detecting community. Basically, the Rodney Cook Memorial is a massive event. Like this year's like nearly 2,000 people. But because it has become so popular, this is an overspill of the main event. It's just as good. It's got the same. I think it's got similar amount of land. 500 people as opposed to thousands. It doesn't have a comedian. It doesn't have live entertainment. It just has like burger vans, toilets, and things like that. So it's next Friday down Southway. It's going to be 6 hours, I reckon, for you drive. No. So I doubt you're not coming.
Maybe next year then, Gary.
I'd come to Rodney Cook next year.
I've got that plan. I was supposed to go. Gary sent me a ticket last year, and I couldn't attend last year. So I did say that this year I was attending Detectiveville, and then next year I will go to Rodney Cook.
What is your strangest find? Yes, I asked this at Detectiveville, but I want you to show us. Oh my God, what's this?
I'll go and get it, right? It's not. It might not be PG, but I'll go and get it. Just look at my piano.
Yeah, nice fruit bowl you got there, and yeah, nice fireplace. Still daylight in Scotland. Blimey, yeah, look, sun's still on. Just see that actually. I don't know how to make your screen bigger. Oh, I've just done something there. Don't quite. No, that's me. That's yes, interesting room. Very neat and tidy house. Right, Dean's gone to get his most unusual find, so this will be quite interesting. What it is.
I'm back. It's like a mansion in here. I don't know if you want to see it properly on the camera.
Hang on, I think I can make it. I don't know. No.
No. Let me see it.
Hold it up a bit. Oh, is it a phallic symbol?
Yeah, it's made out of lead, and it's snapped. It's snapped off. So I don't know how big or small the model was, but it's definitely
Just hold it up a bit. Yeah. It's yeah. Just hold it in front of your mouth. Interesting. Where did you find that, Dean?
In the woods.
Detecting or with friends?
Detecting. It wasn't one of those saucy parties or anything like that.
That
was after.
That was your weirdest find. Derek Sherwin. Is there going to be a one-day RCM dig like last year? Sorry, Dean. I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because it's so much organisation. It's probably not worth it. There's lots of people. Phallus. It's a dong. Is it Nessie? Do you believe in Nessie, Dean? Or is it a Scottish tourism thing to get the English up there?
I think there probably was something quite a few years back. But I think that, I don't know, I believe in Bigfoot as well. But the amount of people that have got good camera phones and no one gets a good footage of it. Is it real?
Little fact here, my granddad was on Radio 4 in the 60s because he was with someone, a witness, who supposedly saw Nessie. And he was in the papers and stuff. And he weren't like liar or anything like that. He might be drunk.
Quite a few years back, and they were talking about the famous one where obviously the monster's supposed to be sticking its head out of the water. And somebody took photos, and apparently it was it coincided when the circus were in Inverness, and they were taking the elephants down to swim in the loch, and that's what apparently this was. It was the top of the elephant's head and the trunk coming out. I don't know if that was true or not.
Why doesn't a millionaire buy an elephant? No, it's politically incorrect. Buy an elephant and put it in Loch Ness. It'd be quite funny, wouldn't it? Right. Gary Cook just replied regarding the one-day no frills. There isn't one this year. I think tickets are still available for the no frills. If you're not doing anything next weekend, next Friday, Saturday, and part of Sunday. I'm just checking. I should know because I'm blinking while doing. Oh. Something's not working. The website ticket people's don't have a look at that afterwards. Don't go there now, but if you go to rodneycookmemorial.co.uk in half an hour, I think there's still some tickets. Only a few, less than 20. Yeah. Staffordshire Searcher. Hello, Shane. Shane was meant to be on tonight, co-hosting with me, but he's very shy of Scottish men, so he didn't come on. Dean, have you done our Spin the Coil? Have you heard of that before?
No, I've not asked. To be honest, I've never asked them to catch the show for ages.
How did you find out about us? Public toilet or
Dave shouted at me and says you have to come on.
Sounds a bit like Dave. Right, this is on our website, bigdetectingshow.com. It's a bit of fun, and what it is, it's some random questions relating to the hobby of metal detecting. Okay, so we quite often ask our guests this, so I'll get it up on screen. So all you need to do is answer the question that comes up. It might be a sensible question, it might be something that's quite bizarre. Predominantly, I reckon you're going to be lucky getting sensible ones, but here we go. What's the weirdest lead find you've ever found?
My favourite detecting book.
One you're in.
I don't know, to be honest, unless it's got pictures in it. I can't read.
Seriously, you can't read?
No, okay, I'm joking. There was a...
Give me a description and I'll tell you what it is.
To be honest, I can't say I've got a favourite metal detecting book, apart from like a finds book to identify coins.
Yeah, what book you got?
I've got the Scottish one, the Scottish and
Oh,
Irish
cool.
Scottish book,
Ah, yeah.
which is quite good because a lot of obviously the coins that I find here are not in the other main book.
Oh, okay. Right, that's another one. Is that a Sphinx Scottish coin book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the most expensive book I've ever bought. It was like 50 quid.
Oh, well, I think we've just done that one. It was your most random. Was it your most random one?
That was the most random one, yeah.
Are you vegetarian, Dean?
No.
That's right, you won't get offended. Just in case some of the questions. Oh, if you had to describe the taste of the colour purple, what would it be?
Like polite? Or
It's all right. I just put that in. That's a pretty random question because how do you describe the taste of a colour? But I'm pleased you said polite because I would have said like blackcurrant or something like that. But polite's nice. We'll do with that one. Let's have another spin. Polite. I like that. It's good.
what shampoo do I use? There we go. This is a setup. Jason has had plans in this, isn't he?
What shampoo did you use?
Obviously, one that washed my hair away.
That's what I'm asking. Oh dear. Right, let's get an interesting one now. Let's get a metal detecting related one. Oh, it doesn't fit. But do you think the hobby will be ever? Do you think the hobby will ever be banned or restricted?
Yeah, I think it already has, isn't it?
Well, in Scotland, it's different to us in down south and Wales. So, have you found over the years it's got harder?
Mainly for asking for permissions is harder because obviously farmers are scared to give permission. One, because if you find something, they kind of sell their land for houses. And like I know, obviously in England and that, a lot of the councils allow you to metal detect parks and stuff like that. Do they?
No. Well, they used to. There are some that let you do it, but the biggest problem is, in this lovely world of legal lawyers and courts, is you dig a hole and little 7-year-old Johnny trips over the hole and breaks his ankle in the park. So yeah, and also a man walking through the park with a, I won't mention the brand, but some of the digging spades are serrated edges. I dread to think what could go wrong, but yeah. Right, let's just have one more, and then we can have. I think we asked that one, didn't we? Yeah.
I don't know, 4 hours probably on average during the week.
And you said you're busy at weekends, and obviously you've got a family. Do you often go out like for a full day on a Saturday or a Sunday?
No, it tends to be just a couple of hours at a time. I don't tend to go out for the full day, to be honest. I have got like a foot injury as well, which prevents me from going out like the entire day.
Bloody hell. No hair, deaf in one ear and a bad foot.
It's got a pin in it as well, so it beeps.
Oh, that's interesting. Right, last question. It's not a question. Yeah, it is a question. Oh.
I think old, to be honest, because I always find that the older it is, the more interesting it is. And I think if I was to find a gold Vicky sovereign, and I was to find a Henry III hammer coin, I think I'd be more interested in the Henry III hammer coin than the gold sovereign, to be honest.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, mine was old, then it was gold,
Mhm.
and now it's anything. I don't. What is the oldest thing you found?
Other than like Roman and stuff, or probably I've got a Iron Age Roman buckle. That's the museum's got that, so I'll never see that again. But the oldest medieval kind of thing that I've got, or hammered, is a William the First.
Nice.
That was the first ever hammered coin, a half cut William the First, hammered Scottish. But other than Roman, obviously, I don't know how far we can go back, I suppose.
What's it called? The
Picts.
No, it's Pictoria. I've forgotten it. There's a period. Goes way back. I think they resided in Scotland. Someone will say it in the chat. Philip Wills will. Pictish. That's it. Pictish. Yeah.
Well, they were kind of like Iron Age, weren't they? Pictish.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that buckle thing comes from. Was here was where I live was the old Pictish capital of Britain. Is where I live.
Wow.
So the Romans didn't come here because they were scared of the painted men.
Yeah, Pictish. Yeah.
So
That's
I think
interesting.
they used to. There was a clan, or whatever you call them now, but they controlled from here maybe 100-mile radius, something like that, and it's they were called the Votadini, and they traded with the Romans, but I think they only traded with them at the sea, that they wouldn't allow them on the land. I think this is one of the only areas, one of the only areas in Scotland that the Romans didn't come near. Was where I live, because this is where the main settlement was for the Picts.
That's really interesting. And have you found much from that period? You haven't, have you? No.
Just
not yet.
Not yet. Just that buckle, to be honest.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, though, there was. I say the Romans didn't come here. I've got a field that. When I used to live in a cottage, and the field was like in the middle of the cottage was in the middle of the field, pretty much. And that's had 2 Roman fibulas come off it, and obviously the Romans aren't supposed to have been anywhere here, and it's literally like the field is probably less than an acre. And I'd done this field for 3 years. Nothing was coming off it. It was just junk coming off it. And then the last year, everything's been coming off it now. And next year, there's houses getting built on it. So that's where I keep going.
Oh.
And it's the weeds are like literally up to your waist. And I'm still kind of ploughing through it just to try and get any scraps that's left.
Sad house is being built on it. John Clayton, how do you find out which clans are which? Google it. I don't know.
Like, as in, like, what all the names are. They're not just control, like, land, didn't they? That they got given to them by England. And they were just in charge of one clan. It was just a second name, wasn't it?
Oh, it's all right. Philip Wills has answered it. Thanks, Philip. So just look under their kilt. Yeah. No, I presume, I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, hang on. Didn't the Nith Hispanic Legion enter Scotland? I think there was a fortification found some years ago. Derek, I remember Dave, I think, talking about that, or someone we had on the show talking about that. I've got a feeling they were actually American. Are you part of the Clan MacLeod?
No. Apparently, I was part of the clan that helped discover America, and that's where the name Houston, Texas came from, apparently, according to what Google says. I very much doubt it. But apparently that had some connection to why they named Houston Houston.
Really?
When they went over and discovered different America, yeah, apparently.
Have you been to Houston?
No.
Oh. Have you been to America?
No.
No.
I've eaten American food, but I've never been to America.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to try that. I've never tried American food. Dean, before I forget, your YouTube channel, you've got Instagram as well, haven't you? What's your Instagram address?
It's the same, just that of Scottish Relics. And on TikTok, I think that's the same. I just kept it simple. I never put anything on Instagram, to be honest. There's a picture of the lead thing. Bobby.
Ah, I think I can do. I think I can do. Ah, look at that. Sorry, because Dave normally does all the videos, the studio, and everything, and like you, about 4 or 5 years ago, I just came on as a guest and got stuck here, and now I'm sort of running the show, which is quite bizarre, but I'll probably get it wrong at the end. I think I went live with just my face for the first second of the show rather than hitting a video. But yeah, follow Dean. His YouTube, I actually watched a few of your YouTube videos before you came on tonight, and they're quite interesting and a little bit humorous and nice. And there was one I watched. I wanted to ask you a question about, but I've forgotten about it now. What made you want to video yourself, Dean? I mean, for metal detecting, not the other stuff.
You can find that on OnlyFans. But
that's one, yeah.
It was a way, I think, for me to document, so I could look back at what I was finding. Because I think once you discover that anything you find in Scotland, you're supposed to hand in. You know what I mean? Even if it's a bottle cap, they want it off you. So I thought if I can record all these, then I can look back whenever I want to do it. But also when we had the club, so the YouTube channel first started when I had that club. And it was, as I say, it was just a way of people that maybe couldn't make the dig to watch back to see what people were finding so that they maybe come to the next one. So it was a kind of advertising tool to advertise the club. And then when that fell apart, I quite enjoyed doing it. And I think I'd already met a few people in the community, and I thought I could give it up and I could just come on and do like lives or whatever, or come on lives and just talk to people in the chat. But I thought no, I quite enjoyed just going out and filming.
What do you use, GoPro or?
I just use my iPhone. So I got my iPhone and I just plug the headphones in with dead cat on it because it's quite windy in Scotland, and that's all I do. I just edit them quickly on my phone and just upload them. I don't put massive amounts of work into them. I know some channels put a lot of work into their YouTube channels, and so it's almost like a movie. But I think if you've got time to do it, then yeah. But I think you could get maybe caught up on what it's about, if you know what I mean. Like I'd rather go just metal detect and record what I'm finding. If it's crap, it's crap. If it's good, it's good. Mm-hmm. And as you'll see, a lot of my videos are just pretty much me going out and finding whatever I find, and I record everything. Because I think it's important as well that people that haven't metal detected, that are wanting to start metal detecting, and they are watching YouTube, and if they're seeing people pulling up good find after good find, it's not really describing the hobby very well to them, and they'll soon get fed up with it. Whereas if you can tell them the truth right at the start, then it works better.
Yeah, it's true. And if it puts them off, they're not patient enough. So they've saved themselves 400, 500, 600, 1,000 quid rather than spending all that money on a metal detector. Because you do get bad days. I'm going for a bit of a dry spell at the moment myself, finding stuff, but nothing of major significance. But You're right about people. Some people, it's like I don't video my detecting. One of my farmers won't let me because he's a bit funny about the land. But
Yeah.
if I can spend 5 hours metal detecting, I'd rather do that than spend 3 hours metal detecting and 2 hours editing a video. And I know I could share it with people, and it's probably me being greedy, but I love the hobby so much. And when I get home, I'm normally knackered, and then I clean the finds, leave them all over the table in the lounge and the kitchen, and sometimes the bathroom, if I find things like you did. But it's maybe in the future when I've got a bit more time, I'll probably do it then. I think it'd be quite nice to do. I do a few TikToks. I've got videos on TikTok and stuff for the magazine, but yeah, it's good. It's good that you show the real stuff. And
I literally just, as I say, I'll upload my camera roll to an editing software, and that does the work. You know what I mean? So I probably spend 15 minutes editing and then upload it. So I wouldn't, if it was to get into the stage that I was spending 2 hours and I was out in the field, and 90% of the time I was out in the field, I was trying to get the perfect shot or the perfect backdrop, then I think it eats into your time and what you're actually out there to do. And it becomes a job rather than a hobby to me.
Yeah. I think there's certain people like Addicted to Bleeps, Chris Rogers. His background, he's done filming. He was on, he knows what to film straight away. He knows how he's going to edit it together, and it probably takes him half an hour because he knows what he needs to film and how he's going to build a storyline. Whereas us lot, we're too busy worrying about, what's my sensitivity? Oh, how much power have I got? Stuff like that. Changing subject slightly, what pinpointer do you use?
I've got the XPA MI6.
Right. Okay.
The only reason I've still got that is because when I had the ORX, it paired with the headphones, and I just quite liked it because I can have it on vibrate if I want, which I do actually have it on vibrate. I don't have a beep
because you can't hear it, and your leg will then set it off as well. But yeah, MI6, nice pinpointer. Have you tried the MindLab Pro Finds?
When they first came out, I had the MI the 20 or something, was it?
15, 20, 20, yeah.
I think I had that when it first came out, and I got it because I thought it was quite good that just like it discriminated or told you what was iron. But I think again, it's what brand you prefer. I think I started off with a Garrett Carrot. I think like everyone does. I started off with a Garrett Carrot, and then I think that broke, and that's when I went and got the XP. I think I'd always gonna stick to the XP. If that broke, I'd probably buy another one.
Yeah, I've got an MI6. I don't know why. But I've got the Nocta. Is it AcuPoint? The Nocta, which fantastic pinpointer. If anything, it's too good. But yeah, the MI6, and I've got the Pro, whatever. And my favourite one was the Quest one, the original Quest one, which came out about 5 or 6 years ago. Probably 6 years ago. That lasted me probably 5 years, and I think it was only like 50 quid from Technics. And that was a cracking little pinpointer. But yeah, you can't, unless you buy the £10 ones off eBay, you can't really go wrong with the branded ones at the moment.
Well, when I bought that icon that I was talking about before, a pinpointer came with that, and it was a white one, and it was like a black box with like a little
bullseye.
That was it, a white bullseye.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite a good pinpointer at the time, I think.
Yeah, it's very popular in America. Those are right. We've nearly finished the show. That's gone really quick, and it's lovely having you on, Dean, because I've never met you before. I don't think sober anyway, or in a forest looking for lead things. And you're a nice chap, and it's good when we have someone on who can talk on the show. So if you were nervous, you don't need to be, because you did a cracking job, and it's been nice having you on tonight. And people need to subscribe to your channel, which I will point here. So Dean Houston, Scottish Relics, metal detecting.
There's also going to be a little giveaway on the page very shortly for a fines pod from Swing and Dig Detectorist, and that makes the fines pod thing. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Brilliant. All right, Dean. And we haven't got time for any questions, so apologies about that. I don't know what I'm doing with the show at the moment because I've forgotten. Oh, we've got a new outro actually tonight. But Dean, thank you very much for coming on, and I'll hopefully bump into you sometime in the near future. Probably, if not next year at Detect. I've got the name. Digathon. So I'm definitely going to that. And Dave will be back on the show next week, providing he gets his flight home. Not that he's got 8 litres of vodka in his backpack and he's trying to get through customs or anything silly like that. But yeah, thanks for watching this week, and same time, same place next week. And thank you again, Dean.
No problem.